So like many video shooters, I wanted to build a set of cinema lenses that was fast, sharp, and produced a clean image. And I wanted to retain autofocus because as a solo shooter, I could use the help. Unfortunately, while there are several options for budget-oriented cinema lenses on the market now, barely any of them allow you to keep the software tools that Sony is known for, like their autofocus and their OSS. So instead of going with any of those, I went a different way, and with a few accessories, I built a cinema lens kit out of used G Master lenses, and I want to share it with you. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the case, which is the Nanuk 918 lens case, which is, in my opinion, the best purpose-built lens case that you can buy without getting something custom. Inside, there are 6 compartments for your lenses. You can change the size of the compartments by adding or removing foam, which makes it pretty spacious for large lenses. The case, at least in my experience, has been super durable. As you can see, the outside is covered in scratches. I've taken this thing everywhere and have never had an incident where something on the inside has broken. Nanuk also claims that it's waterproof, although I'm super not going to test that. I love the Nanuk locks because they prevent accidental opening. You actually have to push down on this little tab in order to open the locks, which I find very comforting in a case that's holding, a lot of money in lenses. The last thing I'll say about the case is that they offer it in a variety of different colors to suit kind of your own creative flair. And while that is a good thing on paper, it's a bad thing in terms of when they promo it, they only promo certain colors. So you might get stuck with a color you don't necessarily want, like olive, because it was the only one on sale. Now, before we talk about the lenses in the set, you're gonna notice that they all have a bunch of different accessories on them, and I wanna walk through those now. Every lens in the set has focus gears on them. These are the Tilta seamless focus gear rings, and I think they're just a great value. For $2 a package, you can get essentially custom fit focus rings for your lenses, which are super helpful when you're pulling focus, using a follow focus, or even just grabbing them on the outside of the lens. I find it easier to grab the heavy tooth-pitched gears than the ones on the barrel of the lens, so it's just a nice add to have. Tilta sells these rubber rings in a bunch of different sizes, and the way you calculate what size you need is you measure the outside of the barrel of your lens, and then you divide that number by pi, and that's how you get the specific length that you need on their site. The next thing you'll notice is that every lens has step-up rings on it, which just makes all of the outside filter diameters the same size. I do this because then I can put 82mm filters across all of them, even though they don't all have 82mm filter threads. These step-up rings are the Signature Series Pro Sim rings from SimMod Lens, and I absolutely love them. They're made of billet aluminum, which has been anodized black. It is a really durable texture. I haven't had any of it chip off yet. On the outside, the rings are knurled for texture, and it's so convenient that I have no idea why other ring manufacturers don't do it. It makes it so much easier to unscrew them when they get kind of like stuck in a way. It's absolutely phenomenal. SimMod Lens does offer a much more expensive version of the rings that allow you to put the millimeter of the lens and the f-stop on the side so you can kind of see it at a glance, but they are so much more expensive that I just thought, let's go with the basic ones I can remember. And then the final accessory is just some basic rubber caps, again from SimMod Lens. I like the rubber caps. They're made specifically for the Pro Sim rings, so the fitment you get when you press them on is really good and they're not gonna fall off. So the first lens in the kit is the Sony 24mm G Master f1.4, and I really like this lens as my wide angle option. It's not incredibly wide, but for the look it offers, being as short and light as it is, I really enjoy it. The lens itself has a great close focusing distance at about 0.8 feet. And on a personal note, I think that wide angle lenses that offer a shallow depth of field are really interesting, and I like shooting with that stuff a lot. I use this lens mostly for interiors, exteriors, and establishing shots, and it's got a great, well-respected place in my kit. The next lens is the Sony 35mm G Master f1.4. This lens was critically acclaimed and highly sought after when it came out not too long ago. It's a great standard focal length prime. Honestly, this lens probably lives on my camera the most out of all of them. It also has a great close focus distance at about 0.9 feet. It gives you a really standard focal length look, and because it's so versatile, I use this lens for the vast majority of my projects. It's about as small and as compact as the 24mm, which makes it a great addition to the kit. The third lens in my kit is the 50mm G Master f1.4. This lens is great if you want the standard look with a little more punch and reach. What can you say about a 50mm lens that hasn't already been said? The Sony G Master 50mm is fast, it's compact, and it has a really sharp, clean look that carries through the set. I love the 50mm. However, I'm not a big 50mm shooter. This lens, because of the 35, probably spends the least amount of time on my camera. That being said, it's so sharp and it's so good. I love the 50 in this set, and I love having them with the other lenses as well. It kind of just rounds out the focal lengths. It's got a good close focus at about 1.65 feet. I don't use this lens as often as some of the other lenses in the kit, but I really like having it because the situations where I need to use it, it performs exceptionally well. The next lens in the kit is the 85mm G Master f1.4. Now I'm making this video shortly after the GM 8514 Mark II was released, so would I rather this be a Mark II? Of course, but I'm content with what I have. The 8514 is a great second camera lens for interviews. It's great at portraits. It's great at blowing out the background. Because it was the first G Master lens announced, it's quite old, even though my copy is only a few years old. It does feel a bit different and work a bit different than the other lenses. Its autofocus is a lot slower. It's a lot noisier of a lens, but it still gives you a look that carries across the whole set, which I'm very happy with. While the 8514 GM hasn't aged as gracefully as some of the other older G Master lenses, I love having it in the set just to round out the focal lengths. This is essentially my telephoto lens in the set. Finally, the last lens in the set is a curveball because it's not a GM lens at all. The fifth lens in the set is the legendary Sony 90mm f2.8 macro lens. Now I chose to include this lens because I really wanted a macro lens in the set to get close-ups. Not close-ups, but extreme close-ups. I was doing a lot of detail work, and I found that having a macro lens was just helpful, even if I didn't need it on every shoot. A lens like this will allow you to shoot extreme detail and extreme close-ups in situations where you need it, and it also functions as a semi-decent telephoto lens despite being not as fast as the others. The colors match quite well to the rest of the G Master lenses, and honestly, the omission of a GM badge, you know, I could take it or leave it. It fits right in. So those are the 5 lenses in my kit, but there are 6 compartments. Well, I don't have another lens for that other compartment, so I choose to fill it full of accessories that I'd like to have with my lenses. Currently, I have a set of diopters which fit across the series of lenses. Those are really helpful for close focus opportunities on some of the GM lenses. And then I have some lens wipes, and I kind of just switch out different things I might need in that extra compartment. It is helpful when you're carrying lens-specific accessories to have some more storage. And sometimes for other shoots, I'll put a different lens in there that doesn't necessarily fit with a set, like the 24-70 zoom lens. But honestly, throughout my work with this set of lenses over the last year and a half, I haven't really felt the need to include that extra lens. Okay, so that is my kind of cine-modded G Master lens kit, and now I just want to go into some final thoughts. So the first thing is just a reminder that with this kit, I can now use all of Sony's autofocus and their OSS technology, and I'm not limited because it's all first party. So I also get to take advantage of lens breathing compensation. There are so many benefits when using first party lenses, especially at the upper level of Sony and the G Masters. In my opinion, these lenses have a clearer, more precise look than a lot of the budget cinema lenses out there, and sometimes it's for an equivalent price too. So while I see the allure to go with like a budget cinema lens, shooting on G Master allows you a lot of creature comforts that you would have to get rid of. And you know, cameras have gotten so good, I find it hard to kind of, you know, just push aside all the stuff like autofocus and lens breathing comp. Like, I really want to take advantage of that. So I really like this set because it lets me keep all that, but it also gives me a really technically good image that the G Master lenses are known for. So why did I choose the 50mm f1.4 as opposed to the 50mm f1.2? So first of all, I bought all of these lenses used, which allow me to save a fairly good chunk of change. Like, most of the lenses were about 15-20% off in the used market, but I have to say the 85mm, I got 60% off just because it is so old when I bought it. Still an amazing lens. Like, I love the look coming out of it, but saving money was first and foremost on this kit. So it was really just the fact that there was no 50mm f1.2 on the market at the time. But, you know, looking back, I think I would have chosen the 51.4 anyway, just because of the difference in weight and the difference in size, and first and foremost, the difference in price. So I'm very happy with the 1.4 because I think it could be just a better video lens because of the features that I mentioned before. do I have any future plans about getting a 6th lens? Well, as much as I do like to have a little storage cubby where I can keep all my lens accessories, I would like to add a 6th lens. I mean, why not? It's meant for 6 lenses. The problem is I can't really make up my mind on which lens for it to be. And if you have recommendations, please leave them in the comments. So the lenses that I've looked at are the 14mm GM 1.8 and the 135 GM 1.8. And I'll tell you why I haven't picked either of these lenses. First, the 14mm, I would really like a wide. There's a few problems with the 14mm. One, it's got the bulbous front element that prevents it from using circular filters, which isn't really a deal breaker, but it adds to it. Second is, I don't really love the look on the 14 for video. I like the super wide, but I've seen some reports that the bokeh is kind of funky, so I'm kind of holding off for that reason. Yeah, I would just say the difficulty of filtering it and the kind of funky look on it have been holding me back. And then the 135 1.8 is much more straightforward in the way that I already am pretty happy with the 85 telephoto look, and I don't necessarily think the 135 would offer anything much more different than the 85. And I really only use the 85 for special occasions and second camera stuff, and I think the 135 I would use in a really similar situation set. So I don't really think at this point I need a 135 for this kit, but that could change in the future. And then finally, I want to put some decals on the top of these lens caps. They would look so good with their numbers printed out and the information of the lenses. I actually found someone online who produced stickers for the top of these lenses. His name's Spencer Chumley. He's got an article on it. I encourage you to check him out and read it if you want to learn more about building a set like this. But in the future, I'd like to get decals printed, custom decals for the tops of the lenses, just to make the set look that much nicer. So that is my video about my Cine modded G Master lens set. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it gave you some inspiration to maybe use some photo lenses or repurpose some photo lenses in order to make your cinema lens kit. I mean, really it's about what you make. It's not about how you make it. And I encourage you to just go out and make more stuff. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll see you in the next video.